to the stream. This is the first time over the comms. I don't know why that's being so loud. Is that better? I hope that's better. Anyway, but yes, it is now a two-man or two-person even comms box. It's myself, Joseph Black, aka Cockcast, and alongside me is actually Ace, who's come from streaming it and is now joining me in the comms box. So Ace, give us a little brief. How's it going so far?
Good. We are in Mystery Ride with Round 10 and console, but as already seen by qualifying and stream, well, you can see it now, it is Qatar. So qualifying is already finished, and we are now heading into the race.
Yeah, we should be heading into the race as soon as we possibly can, and then we'll be heading to the lights out. We'll be heading to 29 laps of the Qatar Grand Prix, and well, what should be 29 very exciting laps of a mystery Grand Prix. So they haven't had much practice, which means that we could be seeing a little bit more scrapping, all these sorts of things that could play into effect. But at the end of the day, somebody will be coming out on top. We will be having a driver win tonight, although it could be on countback, so or it could be on the stewards reports. So make sure to keep one eye peeled, or at least for the Twitter. So make sure to follow us on there as well as subscribing to us on here. We hit 500 subscribers. We're on 550 something. I don't remember exactly what, but 550 something. So if we could get as many people in the chat subscribing as possible, that would be wonderful. Of course, you can't be in the chat without subscribing, so that's an incentive. But we are now heading to the Qatar Grand Prix. We have readied up, and we are all ready to get going.
Indeed. Grid 4 tonight, by the way, as always, can't see it is Joe Murphy who will be starting on pole position with a 120.178, then CF10 Ryan, Alex Lofer, Alpha Kevin, Lawrence, Supply Raptor, Sergio Lee, Philo, Nico, Coleman, Thomas, Tony O'Shea, Brent, Rappies, Chorizo, Carlos, Flash, Brian, Nomia, and Mattis at the back. So a topsy-turvy grid is definitely one for today.
Yeah, a little bit turned on its head with some of the drivers that you'd expect to be up the top right, right down the bottom, and well, a little bit vice versa as well. And we will be getting going very, very soon for what should be a very good race. Mediums, hards, mediums appears to be the strategies that we are going for. Joe Murphy on pole position, currently sitting on those hards, Silo switching over to those softs. I'll come off that screen so nobody is able to gain an advantage. But what it should look like is a mixture of the white and the yellow walled tyres and what should be an interesting strategy race. I think it's going to come down, though, mostly to on-track battles and all the drivers on track are ready just to take their opportunities. That can be gambled moves. I think most of the moves around Qatar are gambled unless it's, well, of course, a move down the inside into turn number one. With that DRS, you should have that momentum. And, well, we should be getting going very, very soon. The momentum should be carried from that qualifying for those at the front up to the race. We've got a poll out just now. Who will win tonight? Will it be a TF10 driver? Will it be ET8? Will it be the pole man, Joe Murphy's BRT? Or will it be another team, of course? Just get involved because we've got some very, very good action ahead of the drivers. We've got some very, very good action to be able to take you through tonight. And we are heading to it now. There's 5 lights on. and it's action. We're away here in Qatar. Joe Murphy off to a good start, and he will be pulling ahead heading into turn one. Alex Lofer and TF10 Ryan side by side. Alpha Kevin trying to find a gap through the middle. Ryan 2P2 and Alex Lofer dropping down 2P3. Could lose to P4 as Lawrence and Kevin are side by side. So that means that they will not be fighting ahead. Alpha Kevin getting past Sergioli and Supply Raptor in the meantime, fighting away for P6 and P7. And that is Supply Raptor down the inside. He moves past the ET8 man and into P number 6. So all the drivers trying to filter their way through. That could be a late breaking move for Supply Raptor, but he just sits in behind in the end. That's Sergioli moving past Nico in P8 and P9. But a few moves, a few elbows coming out already. But Joe Murphy tops the lot.
Indeed, he does, but the only one starting on the yellow War Tires mediums, it's Alex Lofer, who's already getting himself up to third. I think where he started as well. So not too many movements up the front of the field, but he's trying to get that gap already, try to get ahead and bring AMR some more points, as they are the ones currently fighting for fifth in the championship. Mind you, the gap is not much, but they need a good race. They want to have any chance of keeping that fifth. There's only 2 rounds after this, but it could still make or break that season if they're going to get, in the top 5 and get the prize money.
Yeah, it's going to be an so crucial battle for the teams as we head to crunch time in this season. And Joe Murphy taking it out of form BRT side, just taking the lead at the moment. He's in first, his teammates in 7th. They're in a very good position just to get anywhere in this. Of course, they are still in the fight for P3, mainly with ET8. But if they can squeak their way into trying to fight for those positions at the top, it'll be very, very good. Silo, in the meantime, he's fighting for positions up the top. The position being P6, and he makes his way past Sergioli. Supply Raptor as well, trying to fight away. But in the end, it is the green BRT that takes that P6 spot away. He's got 6/10 to get up to Alpha Kevin. But I'm sure he's going to gain that within no time with how close this field is. Alex Lofer, by the way, as you mentioned, the only driver on mediums. He needs to make these moves quickly if he's going to make this work and if he's going to make it stick. So he's got, a few more laps for those mediums operating window for them to be the quicker tyre before the switch over to the hards being the faster ones. But Alex Lofer, he will continue to sit in P3 on lap 2, heading on to lap 3 of this Grand Prix.
Indeed, as he takes fastest lap as well, but is anyone going to go for a move into turn 1? Ryan looks to go for it. He's going to send it into turn 1 and easily take it with the DRS behind. Alex Lofer getting very close to that rear end of Joe Murphy, not going for the moves yet. But even still behind, we've got everyone still in the DRS tree, and no one's fallen out of it just yet, at least.
Yeah, they haven't fallen out just yet. But with Racing Nomia down in P29, tenths off, you could be eating your words by the end of this lap. But it's certainly going to be very, very close between most of the field. Yeah, Racing Nomia now 1.1 seconds behind my/, in P19 and P20. So, I mean, not what he would have wanted, and he's going to try to get back into that slipstream and into that DRS as we head around the circuit for the 3rd time. Alex Lofer sitting behind Joe Murphy, wanting to take that opportunity soon. He'll try to find his way forward. But at the moment, Joe Murphy looking ever closer and looking forward rather than back, looking to pressure rather than to soak it up. And try to take that lead away from TF10's Ryan. He's got one more corner to go before he gets to that DRS. And the Aston Martin is looking to be under pressure. That is McLaren in the background, Alpha Kevin, who's trying to defend from BRT Silo. Looking at Silo's teammate, Joe Murphy. He's taken the lead of this Qatar Grand Prix. There is chaos going on behind Alpha Kevin, Lawrence, Silo, all fighting away. Lawrence coming out on top. Alpha Kevin and Silo side by side. Who's going to come out on top in this one? It's Silo trying to fight forward. He's sticking a wheel into the inside. He's got the inside line once again, and he's boxed in Alpha Kevin. He and Lawrence are working together well to try and help Silo past Alpha Kevin, but the McLaren just staying sternly in P5. Silo with a switchback, maybe if he can get the traction on the exit, but he's still going to hold on to the outside line. This is pretty impressive stuff from the BRT man, but still he's being fought back by Alpha Kevin. But in the end, Silo, with that grip, Alpha Kevin finally yields. He knows that they're just going to keep losing time, and Silo now back up into P5. He's been the man who's had the best start to this race.
Indeed, he has. But the thing is, as well, Alex Lofer's strat has already been said by his engineer. That was not a planned switch to go to medium. He forgot to change his strategy.
Really not what he would have wanted then, sitting in P3 at the moment.
He was meant to be going hards, and he forgot to change tires. So that's going to be an uphill battle, to say the least, as behind as well. You've got Sojoli taking on 2 places to get ahead into P5, just behind his teammate now. Silo, he has been making paces up again. He just needs to go forward if he wants to be, getting BRT into P2. There's only a gap between them and 88, but it's still going to be an uphill battle at the moment.
Yeah, an 88 sitting in P2 in the standings, of course, only 6 points ahead at the moment of BRT. And if Joe Murphy's able to take that victory, if Silo's able to have a strong result as well, then it'll get oh so close. But Lawrence and Sogioli sitting in 4th and 5th at the moment. It's a good performance from both of those teams, and they are just really pushing themselves and pushing each other to that line, to that championship with OVR's Chorizo picking up a 3-second time penalty. Not what he would have wanted sitting down in P14. And that's Tony Reish getting past Coolman into P number 10. Very, very good move from the Aston Martin to make it in sector number 2, just at the start of sector number 2. And he's got Supply Raptor for company now. He's going to try to get past the Williams because there is now a 1.7 second gap between 9th and 8th with Nico Castro Neves in P8. And Supply Raptor now 2 seconds behind Tony Reish, who's going to get past with a DRS. Supply Raptor's going to get absolutely swarmed as there's a switch for the lead. Ryan gets back through on Joe Murphy. And Lawrence gets through on Alex Lofer as well. He's in P3. Alex Lofer drops to P4. The medium strategy, the accidental medium strategy, is not working well at the moment.
It really isn't. But as behind, I don't know if you on board, the Supply Raptor overtaken, or no, Rappies either way, overtaken by 5 cars into towards turn 1, but there's battles up ahead still. So Julie and Alex Lofer side by side, who is coming out on top of those two. At the moment, Alex Lofer, he's got the inside line, but then again, Sir Julie behind. If he gets his nose down the inside, it could be on for the move.
It could be on for the move, but he will have to get that traction and just maybe spot a gap, wait for a mistake to come. And I'm sure there will be mistakes as the medium stint pushes on, as those tyres get more worn. They don't last very long, do those mediums here in Qatar, due to how hot the circuit is. I mean, we already have to run the race at night because of how hot it is here. But those mediums will be cooking, and Alex Lofer will, he's going to be rather stone cold as they head onto lap 7 now of this Grand Prix. Lawrence closer than ever to Joe Murphy, and the ET8 man could be trying to make a move, but Joe Murphy could be trying to make a move on Ryan as well into turn 1. Joe Murphy heads through. Lawrence sticks a wheel in there. Can he pull alongside? No, he can't. And it's still side by side, actually, between the top 2, Ryan and Joe Murphy going at it, hammer and tongs. Ryan squeezing Joe Murphy as much as he can. Joe Murphy just staying in there, and it's a 3-4 at the moment for Lawrence and Sergioli, the 2 ET8 drivers, doing a very good job there. Alex Lofer trying to hold on to the outside, but he doesn't have the grip. And there goes Silo to the inside, trying to just dispatch of the Ferrari driver. He's going to have to go around the long way around the outside, but he just doesn't have the grip. He sits behind, does Silo, and he'll have to go for that move later on in this race. But at the moment, it's advantage ET8. BRT very, very close to getting that advantage themselves. But at the moment, in terms of the race itself, as opposed to the championship, it's advantage Ryan.
It is advantage Ryan currently, especially with championship. The 67 points ahead, which is an insane amount. The thing is, maximum points you need to remember it is only 68. So either way, it doesn't matter what happens this race. TF10, they aren't taking the title.
Yeah, they aren't.
They'll do
And
everything they can.
of course they will. And, well, we could be getting 3 wide into turn number 1. That would be interesting. Joe Murphy, Lawrence, and CF10 Ryan, the top 3 teams in the championship, going at it for the race lead here in Qatar. Lawrence taking that lead. Joe Murphy in P2, Ryan in P3. Brent has rejoined the session, thank goodness. And his team will be glad about that. It's still fighting away as Alex Lofer desperately trying to hold on to that P5 position. How long can he make those mediums last? Not much longer, I would imagine, because of the fighting that he's had to do. Silo and Castro Neves side by side. It could be a move. It isn't a move. And Silo, once again, trying to force a gap that isn't quite there. And trying to force a mistake out of Nico right ahead of him, lap 8 of this race. And it's just getting so spicy as Lawrence leads instead of Joe Murphy, instead of Ryan. They were the 2 up the top at the moment, or they were the 2 on the last lap, right up the very peak of the grid. But instead it's Lawrence who takes that lead. The Alpine, the ET8 driver, doing so well. Sergioli sitting in P number 4. This could be a great weekend for ET8. I said it was advantage ET8 last lap. It's certainly advantage now, but they're heading down the main straight. Joe Murphy is 5 tenths behind. Is he going to be closing in? Well, he's going to be closed in, that's for sure. He's going to close into Lawrence. It's going to be 3 wide, potentially 4 with Sergioli in there, but Joe Murphy slotting his way into P1. Lawrence trying to take the long way around. It becomes the short way around of turn number 2, but staying in P2, holding a wheel in, and that actually compromises his exit. Through goes Ryan. He's up into P2, and it's the 288 drivers back down to 3 and 4.
As Lucas Lofer trying to go on the outside of Sergioli there, he couldn't manage it. But at the same time, these 3 fighting as Silo dives on the inside of Nico in towards turn number 5. Is he able to hold it up? He's not able to. He's got outside line to take this time around. Nico on the inside, not able to go for it, but he's still trying his best to get closer to his teammate and maximize those points for BRT while they can. As being in a fight with ET8, they've got both cars in the top 4 currently. They need to see if they can maximize the points with Silo as well, especially when Joe's already in first. That's the most you can get there, but they need Silo to also gain more.
Yeah, they need Silo to try to go up and get higher than the P7 he sits in currently. And, well, I mean, he's got to get past some very, very quick drivers in order to do so. We're into double figures of laps. We're a third of the way through this race. And at the moment, it is very much advantage ET8. But the lead of the race is held by Joe Murphy and BRT. So this is a race that is really, really in the balance as it stands. It will come down to the strategies. And obviously, ET8, with their 2 drivers so close together, it's going to be difficult to decide who is going to be the driver that takes the undercut or the driver that waits one more lap. That is that's the way up for ET8. It's less of a way up for the 2 BRT drivers, as there's a gap of just over 1 second. Silo gets past Nico into sector 1, but I mean, he allows Nico back through as they head over the split time for sector 2. So maybe that was a bit of a rough move from Silo. He's now 2.1 seconds off of Joe Murphy. This could play into their hands, because then if they can if they can pit on the same lap, if they want to pit on the same lap, then they both can. But, well, 2 seconds off the race leader at the moment. And P7 shows how very close they are together. Sergioli has the closest gap on it to anyone on track. He is as close as anyone to TF10 Ryan. He could be trying to take the lead down the main straight. We will see as we go once again down the main straight. Once again with the DRS and TF10 Ryan closing in 2 tenths behind. But he will stay behind. They will stay line astern for the first time for a few laps. The only switch being Silo now making his way past Nico once again up into P6.
Those 2 are just swapping places, which it's helping, but at the same time it really isn't. The real question is, when is Alex pit? He's on mediums. They're really starting to go off though.
Yeah, I mean,
They're definitely worse than hards by this point. But
It's,
with DRS, he's managing to hold on.
and I mean, the pack is also close together, which is why Alex is able to hold on, because I mean, he's not going to drop all of those positions because of the disadvantage that he has at the moment. Maybe in a couple of laps' time, that could be a threat, but at the moment, Alex Lofer will continue on in P5 on those mediums. They've done a third of the race, and it'll be interesting to see when he actually does decide to come into the pits. Obviously, an accidental change onto the mediums means that he's got to do a lot of thinking on his feet, and so do his engineers there in his team. But we're ready to go hammer and tongs once again down the main straight. Alex Lofer will come under threat from BRT Silo, who is just a tenth and a half back as we head down the main straight. Now, is it going to be side by side, or are they going to tuck in? They're going to stay line astern once again. They're all within 2/10 of each other, so they're all so close. But they have now decided, the top six, that the strategy, the play, is just to stay there, just to stabilize and to try and work together in a sense to just build up the gap ahead of the rest of the field, build up your ERS tank and get ready to fight in the latter stages of this Grand Prix as Pavlos picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's in a streak of 3 drivers, Chorizo, Pavlos and Brian Amers, who have got 3 seconds. And actually, Pavlos has 6. He's dropped out of the DRS at Chorizo, so it's not been the day that he would have wanted. It's not been a very good day for his team with Brent down in P18, 10 seconds off of the chasing pack. So, yeah, not the day his team would have wanted. So it's a shame there for Pavlos, and he's going to try to recover something out of this race.
They'll try their best to, but it's not looking good currently. I mean, Nomiya currently 10 seconds off. Then again, he doesn't even have Brent to help him. Gian, he's just, at this point, AMR, FGE, EVE, and FRT, they're hoping for a safety car to regain. But back to the main straight again, you see ET trying to pull out just to block him. A silo down the inside of Alex Loper, holding on to the inside line, and then taking the outside for the next turn. Can he hold on to it? He's just about able to. A little bit of contact, I think, there between the pair of them, but he's got up ahead into P5 now. He's his next target. It's the ET8 of Lawrence, but he's got the second one to also defend. So if they do swapping, it could help. As Nico down the inside of Alex as well. Those mediums, they're not helping anymore. He's just gonna have to hold on as much as he possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about holding on at the top, especially for the likes of, of Alex Lofer, who's trying to hold on to his tyres, but of, TF10 Ryan. I mean, there's going to be teamwork between the 2 BRT drivers, the 2 ET8 drivers. And Ryan is he's up there on his own. Tony Reish down in P11 at the moment, still within this DRS range, but it's just a large gap in terms of those positions, because even though you can see him in shot there, you can only just see him in shot. And that means that he will not be able to aid his teammates if he so needs him. Sergioli and Lawrence, though, they'll be able to work together to try to get past Ryan. They're going to head down the main straight one more time. Lap 14 of this Grand Prix. Ryan shapes for a move down the inside of Joe Murphy, reminding the BRT driver that he is indeed still there, but not going aggressive enough to force his way through, and not going aggressive enough that it could backfire and that Sergioli could fight his way through. So it's going to stay as you were on the last lap of this Grand Prix, with Joe Murphy holding on to that lead at the moment, but Ryan just taking a step out, reminding Joe that he's there. And, I think Sergioli and Lawrence are hoping that he does a little bit more than that.
Indeed. The real question is, when are we getting pit stops happening? What lap?
Well, I mean, I think they're starting to think about it, but it would be a gamble if they took it now, because obviously we've seen that the mediums don't... Well, we've seen actually Alex Lofer, to be fair to him, he's managed to make those mediums last a lot longer than I thought he would. I thought they would die off about 4 laps ago, but he's been able to keep it going. So Alex Lofer staying in contention. I mean, he's been able to just try to protect those tyres because he's not had to push them that hard, but at the same time, he has been fighting. There are drivers who've tucked into the pits, Tony Reich being one of them, Rappies being another, and we've got our first pit stops of this race. Sergioli and BRT man Joe Murphy fighting into turn number 1. Sergioli gets through, and BRT's man sits in P3 with now his teammate in P5. But Tony Reich taking that step. Could that mean that Ryan will be coming in on the next lap? Have they decided that this is when they pull the trigger and this is when they go? Another 3 seconds headed Chorizo's way, not what he would have wanted, and they're oh so close, making contact, Lawrence and Silo, as they head out into sector number 2. Now Silo right behind Lawrence. It is TF10 from ET8 BRT. ET8 BRT. It sounds like a very bad nursery rhyme, and it could be changed here as Silo down the inside. That's somebody who will be listening to nursery rhymes. He's pulling to the inside of Lawrence, but he can't quite make that move stick, and he'll stay behind in P5, just without that traction that he could have had. Alex not pitting yet, but I think we will be seeing him into the pits. I think we'll be seeing Ryan into the pits, and I think we'll be seeing one of the ET8 and the BRT drivers respectively coming in, because they are just going to lose time in a sort of train like they are now. And there we go, Ryan pulling in, Silo pulling in, and Nico coming in as well, which means that, well, both the ET8 drivers, they've continued on. They're going to fight with Joe Murphy for this race lead, and they're going to fight flat out for this race lead. Sergioli is going to hold on to it. Joe Murphy sitting in P2 in an ET8 sandwich.
They are indeed, but at the same time, they're only sitting, they should only really roughly be on about 40% tire wear currently. So it's not as bad as you'd expect it to be, but it's still definitely hampering them a lot. So for now, Joe Murphy sitting in an ET sandwich, as both and Laura right behind within train. But at the moment, current leader being Ryan from Tony O'Shea from Silo. Obviously, I know ET8 and Joe Murphy are still yet to pit, but Tony O'Shea has come out ahead of Silo, so the undercut for him has worked.
Yeah, yeah.
Silo is right behind.
Tech Brawl coming into the chat saying overcut is good here, but undercut is also good. Undercut has proven oh so powerful for Tony Reich, and now it is TF10 who have stamped their name and stamped their authority on this race. But both the ET8 drivers have committed to the overcut. Sergioli and Joe Murphy come in. Lawrence stays out. He will stay out with Coolman just behind the NLR driver and the ET8 driver continuing on. Now, the race is on. Where is TF10 Ryan? He is currently heading out of the penultimate corner. He's got one more corner to go, and then it will be just a drag race to see whether he can beat the drivers who are in the pits at the moment. They are coming out now. It's Sergioli who will lead Joe Murphy, Thomas, and Chorizo all coming out of the pits, but it's going to be TF10 Ryan who takes the lead of the race. TF10 announce themselves on the scene with a 1-2. Silo in P3, Sergioli in P4, Nico Castroneves in P5, and then Joe Murphy dropping even behind Rappies into what is P10 at the moment, what will be P number 7, so not what he would have wanted. BRT maybe getting this one slightly wrong with Joe Murphy, the undercut being oh so strong, and Silo is now currently in P3. He's demonstrating that it was worth the undercut, and so it's a different BRT driver into the mix, and a purple first sector won't go too far amiss as well.
It won't indeed, but at the moment, TF10 can control this to their liking, as they've got, Ryan ahead, then Tony O'Shea right behind. It's all up to them on when this happens, as Lawrence, Coleman, and I think Paolo should be coming into the pits this lap. If Paolo's been then he is. But at the moment, Lawrence, I would say, is probably going to come out P12, P13 maybe? Obviously from this, but it could maybe be P11, I think, in the end. Well, he's coming out of the pits now. We're seeing where will he be? Because everyone's coming on the main straight now. Is TF10 is swapping as Silo goes for the lead, but he can't go for it yet. Lawrence coming out in P10, like I thought. They're losing too much with the overcut. we saw Ryan do one extra lap, one lap, one extra lap than Tony O'Shea, yet still comes out ahead. He just had the gap. He needs to go for it now, as Silo is right behind. If he gets ahead of Tony O'Shea, they're not going to be able to control this race. But the more surprising one is Castronovo, the Ford himself, is in P5.
Yeah, impressive stuff from him and OVR. Just throwing themselves into contention for this one. They currently sit on 53 points in the middle. No, not 53. What that says 93. I'm lying. In the middle of nowhere in P7, really, in terms of overall standings, with the top 4 just so far ahead of the rest of the field. But TF10 could be just demonstrating their pace tonight, more or less, not officially sealing the title, but taking it to the next round and taking a huge advantage. We're on lap 18, almost 19 of this race. We've got 10 rounds of this Losail International Circuit to go, and at the moment it's TF10 even holding 1 and 2. BRT trying to take it. Silo pulling to the outside line of turn number 1. It'll turn into the inside line of turn number 2. Can he hold on to this position? It looks as though they're still going to be side by side. Tony Reich now with the inside line with the advantage, and with that P2 taken back to the TF10 camp. So it's 1-2 once again for TF10. It is 3 and 6 for BRT. Joe Murphy's trying to change that, trying to get past Nico Castronovo. Can he make that move stick? No, Nico slams the door shut on Joe Murphy, and he will stay behind. Alex Loafer trying to go for a move on Lawrence. These two got their strategies wrong today, and now they're just going to try to save it. Joe Murphy finally making that move past Castronovo, and he's up into P5. The next target up ahead is Sergioli. Can he get through? They're oh so close, all 4 of these drivers, if you're including Tony Reich. But who is going to come out on top at the moment? It is Reich. They've got... What was that?
They've lost the DRS to Ryan now.
They have indeed. So that is Tony Reich holding them back to full effect. So teamwork has made the dream work so far for TF10. And Ryan has a 1.5 second gap. Tony Reich has no DRS. It's like bees swarming into turn number 1. Silo trying to take that lead in this battle. Sergioli in P2. The 2 BRT drivers were side by side. It's Sergioli and Silo still side by side for P2. Sergioli coming out on top, and now it's BRT side by side for 3 and 4. You don't imagine they're going to fight this too hard, but they're going to try and hold off Tony Reich, who dropped from 2nd to 5th. He's made his way to the inside of Silo. He's holding the position once again. It's the outside line for Nico Castronovo to try and make Silo's evening just that little bit worse, but he can't hold on to that outside line. And TF10 Ryan, 1.4 seconds up the road. This is his opportunity.
It is indeed, but Sergioli's tyres, 1 lap fresher. He needs to just go for it now and just push these tyres as much as he can. Obviously not over the limit, but it'll be a challenge at least to make sure he holds that gap that he has with Sergioli. But at the same time, if they're being smart, DRS swapping could gain them some time. But at the moment, it's just going to be, Sergioli needs to play it smart with Joe Murphy, but then Tony is going to try to play the mind games and go, I'm still here, mate, and I'm holding you up.
Yeah, they're all waiting as further back. There's no waiting, no time to wait at all for the NLR drivers. They're both trying to get past Rappies, and Coolman making his way through. He's up into P9. They're side by side, Rappies and Alex Loafer, who's dropped positions. Those hards obviously not as quick as those mediums. And even though he was able to stretch those mediums as long as he could, those hards just don't have that advantage that he was hoping for in that second stint. Lawrence going for a late move on Nico Castronovo. Can he hold on to it? No, he can't. Nico stays ahead in P number 6, but now the gap is coming down at the top. Sergioli was a whole second quicker on his personal best in that last lap, and now he's 1.1 seconds behind Ryan. So the strategy from TF10 to not quite throw away Tony Reich's second place, to not quite throw away their on-track 1-2, but just to try and build that gap, it appears to not have worked. Tony Reich now 9/10 behind Joe Murphy. So somebody needs to tell him to stop holding the drivers behind back, to push forward, just like you would in F1 Manager, which, you know, good game now. It wasn't a good game up until about a week ago, but Sergioli is now 1.1 seconds behind. You'd think that he's got the DRS on the next lap. If he doesn't, Joe Murphy will. Fastest lap, 22.7 as they head down the straight, and he's now within 6/10 of this lead, as now the top 5 have split. But then it's Nico Castronovo and Silo battling for that P5, and who's going to come out on top? It's going to be Silo at the moment, and it's going to be Silo confirmed as they head out of turn number 4, and the BRT man back up into P5.
Silo has no end plate, by the way. I don't know if you noticed on the left-hand side, he's got no end plate. As Lawrence, yeah, optimistic dive bomb, but then contact with Nico. He's apparently ghosted, and if he takes advantage of it and overtakes him, could be a penalty coming his way. And he has overtaken him. So hopefully nothing comes to it, but you never know. As Silo 1.3 seconds behind now, but Sergio is very close to Joe, and Joe is within, was within 6/10 of Ryan. Now he has DRS, so this is now top 4, but it has 2 TF10s, so they can still hold the advantage here.
Yeah, TF10 have the opportunity to try to work together as teammates, this time actually working together as teammates, as opposed to whatever Tony Reich was trying before. Looking further back, it could be 3 wide for P5. Lawrence, Castronovo, and Silo. Castronovo losing out to Lawrence. Silo deciding not to go for the move. And Lawrence continues to lead in that P5, in that battle. But they've got a lot of baying drivers, the likes of the NLR drivers, who haven't really come to the fore this race, but they could be fighting their way forward. Thomas with a penalty, which will not help his case, but 3 seconds means that he could possibly get it removed as he sends it down the inside of Silo. Silo could drop down all the way to P8 if Thomas gets his way. He's going to try to hold around the outside. He's going to successfully hold around the outside. And Silo will just have nothing left. That is Thomas up to P7, Silo down to P8, and BRT's day, which looked also promising at the start with Joe Murphy leading and Silo scything his way through the field. It's dropping now as Joe Murphy still holds on to that P2, but Silo just hasn't been able to gain anything in this second stint. The gap between Tony Reich and Lawrence is coming down, and I think Lawrence is going to have the DRS down this main straight. So it's back into the battle, back into a 12-car DRS train, and it's back into scrapping away. We're on lap 24 of this race now as Alex Lofer picks up a 3-second penalty. This has not been the day to remember for Alex Lofer. Sergioli to the inside. Joe Murphy just daring to dream. I think Sergioli was, and Joe Murphy daring him to go for it. But in the end, Joe Murphy holding on to the position. But yeah, there we go. DRS train all the way down to P12. They're going to get their elbows out even more than they did at the start of this race.
Thomas has won our DRS though, so it's not on the P12 anymore, but it's still very close, and it's on the brink of it. The real question is, out of this now, who is winning? Is it going to be Ryan? Is it going to be Joe? Or is it going to be Sergio?
I think it's going to be very, very close between whoever is going to come through. Maybe it's Tony Reich who improves on the pace, which he showed earlier. And, well, I think it might be unlikely, but I'm back in TF10 to win. Remember to get your predictions in chat. I'm not sure if the poll's still active because that was before the race. It's not active. Well, hey, we could always get one going with 5 laps left in this Grand Prix. Ryan continues to lead. The DRS will be available for Joe Murphy, for Sergioli, for Tony Reich, for Lawrence, for Nico, and then 1.0 seconds to Thomas, so maybe to the NLR man, but unlikely. Joe Murphy goes through. Sergioli makes it 3 abreast as they head into turn 1. Murphy has the advantage. Sergioli trying to hold the outside line. Can he just cling on to that, but no, he can't. And that's actually put him back into the trap of TF10 Ryan. They're side by side. Sergioli getting that straight line speed. He could be trying to fight once again with Joe Murphy for that lead as they are scrapping away on lap 25. They want that lead. But at the moment, Joe Murphy is the one to hold on to it. TF10 Ryan and Tony Reich trying to hold position in P3 and P4. Try not to allow Lawrence through, because then he can work with his teammate to do exactly the same as Ryan and Tony Reich are trying to do at the moment. But Joe Murphy alone up in P1. He wants them to fight us. There we go. There's the pole. We've got TF10, BRT, ET8. Those are the three options at the start of the race. And another team is also another option we could be seeing. Maybe Nico come through and take the victory if these drivers just fight away a little bit over the edge, as they may tend to get a little bit as we head on to now. We'll have just 3-4 laps to go left in this Grand Prix, something like that. We've got a low number of laps regardless, but Joe Murphy continues to lead this one. DRS available for Sergioli down the main straight, also available for Ryan. It's 3 abreast once again on another lap. We go 3 abreast once again, and Sergioli this time is the one in the middle. Sergioli's the one with the advantage. Joe Murphy knows all about taking that advantage in the middle, and so scraps his way through into P1.
If Nico wins this, by the way, I'll give anyone in chat €20. Just a heads up.
Well, I've got to get chatting then, shan't I? Sergioli and Joe Murphy still side by side. There's a 3 wide behind, so they are scrapping, and they are scrapping hard in this race as the top 8 go hammer and tongs. We've got Sergioli in the lead of this one. We've got 2 by 2 by 2 by 2 by 2. That is the situation we have at the moment, and Sergioli leads this pack. Lawrence and Tony Reich fighting away. Lawrence trying to break the TF10 stranglehold over P3 and P4, and he does so with relative success. Can he get through, though, even into P3? No, he can't. He just doesn't have that grip to get past TF10 Ryan, and he holds P4 for now, but he'll have the DRS down the main straight. He'll have that slipstream as well, and Joe Murphy sitting right behind Sergioli, trying to look for a gap around the outside on lap number 26. Lap number 27 beckons as who's that? Tony Reich dropping down the order. Must have been contact between himself and maybe BRT Silo, but that means that this race will not be done in this on lap 29, so keep an eye out on that Twitter, as that is somebody being sent off. Is that Chorizo being sent off? Somebody has gone flying into the wall. Nico Castroneves possibly, but he has gained a place on Silo, but he's gained a 10-second time penalty for his troubles, and just to top it off, Silo retakes that position.
I'm pretty sure Nico is going to get that penalty removed. I don't think that was through any fault of his own. I think he either got forced off or someone just went too wide. So, from what I can gather, I'm assuming that's going to be removed afterwards. Just a warning to everyone: Chorizo has 21 seconds of time penalties. 21. If he gets 3 more 3 seconds, he's getting disqualified. So hopefully it doesn't come to that. But Ryan currently leading Joe Murphy, leading both ET8, and Silo, of all people, even with front wing damage, has gained the places back because of the DRS swapping.
And that's what
these last 2 laps, it's going to be absolutely chaos as we go on to the penultimate lap now. Joe Murphy has DRS off Ryan in towards turn 1. Is it going to be 3 wide? Is it going to be 4 wide? Whatever wide is going to be, it will be absolute chaos as Joe's going for it. So is Sergioli. So the 3 wide, this time in towards turn 1, inside line. Sergioli currently leading, but it's 2 wide again, 2 by 2. Ryan trying to get back to 3 wide, they can't do it just yet. So Sergioli leading Joe Murphy, trying to take that outside line in towards turn 4. So he's trying to hold on, give BOT the best advantage they can for the final 2 rounds. Sergioli outside line for the next corner. Ryan tagged in the middle. That is contact between them. And we've got someone spinning off. That's Silo in the back who spun round. So now Ryan down to P5. It's absolute chaos happening now. Who is getting damage? I'm not even too sure. Someone has damage. I know that for a fact. I don't know if it was Ryan Demplate going or whatever it was. someone has damage up the front. But Joe Murphy only leading by less than the 10th. It's 3 wide into the next couple of corners, and it's not going to be ending well if it stays like this into the final lap that we had now. Sergio a 10th behind Nico with 3 seconds there as well. So this is not going to be ending on track. It could potentially go to Shear's office. It's almost 3 wide into the final corner. This tags as well, contact everywhere. And then onto the final lap in towards turn 1. Who sends the dive bombs and who you just hold on for dear life?
Well, Joe Murphy is the one that's going to lead, but the DRS is available for everybody else. It's 3 wide behind, but that is TF10 Ryan who's taking it to Joe Murphy. Is it going to be a scrap for the race lead? Not quite. Joe Murphy with that grip on the outside. There's yellow flags. That, I think, is Alex Loafer and TF10 Ryan, who, despite missing an end plate, we saw it flying off last lap. He is still trying to fight away for this race lead, but Joe Murphy holds on to that track position. He's had it for so long. Can he cling on to it on the 29th and most crucial lap? Loafer and Reish going side by side for P7 and 8. Crazy to think we're looking at the battle for P7 and 8. They would have DRS on Joe Murphy. That is how close this race has been. We've had so many 3 wide moments, and we are just fighting away. Matisse has been disqualified because he did not come into the pits and get enough.
His AI didn't
it was AI, there we go. So his AI didn't come into the pits, and he will be disqualified for this session, which is just topping off this crazy session and crazy race that we have had. Chorizo with 21 seconds worth of penalties, Matisse being disqualified. That is just the sort of action, just the sort of chaos that we have had. Lawrence is going to look for the move into the final corner on Ryan. Can he hold on to this position? He looks as though he's going to. The momentum has been broken on Ryan. Joe Murphy's going to win the race. It's going to drag race to the line. Sergioli takes P2. It's going to be Lawrence in P3, Ryan in P4. NLR's Coolman taking P5 with Tony Reish in P6. Then it's Silo in P7. Alex Loafer in 8th. Brian Eamers in P9. And then Thomas rounding out the top 10. Me/in 11th. Nico dropping to P12 after that penalty with Pavlos in P13. Chorizo only P14. But with 21 seconds worth of penalties, he has only dropped all the way down to P14. So impressive that he's only dropped down there. Then it's Alpha Kevin, Rappy's in P15, then Alpha Kevin, then Racing Nomia, Supply Raptor, and Brent, the final finisher.
As long as he makes it to the end, that is. He's still got a couple corners to go. I think Nomia may be in AI mode. I think they disconnected. We've had a couple disconnects during this race. Yeah, Brent also unfortunately wasn't in the lobby. I don't think. I don't know if he got disqualified or something. He just didn't. Something happened there. I'm not too sure. But in the end, BRT on top for the second week running. Could this be a comeback that we're witnessing now?
Well, it's certainly looking that way, with Joe Murphy taking that P1, but P2 and P3 for ET8. As it stands, is, well, it's going to be a very, very close fight. Just a reminder then of the standings. This was after the Chinese Grand Prix round 9. So obviously they haven't been updated. As I mentioned earlier, check the social medias of Competitive Speed Series to see what it will be. But TF10 leading the standings 4-11 with ET8 in P2 on 3-4-4. BRT just 6 points behind with NLR just 40 points behind them. But that could all be set to change as a result of these results with, well, P1 for Joe Murphy, P2 for P2 for Lawrence, sending it.
Me.
Hey,
did you get results on your screen? Because I didn't.
Nope, that's what I'm saying on the standings screen. But
right, I'm hoping someone else has.
That's fine because we got it as they crossed the line, and I can bring it to you right about now. As by the way, we won the votes. BRT were actually eventually the race winners. Joe Murphy winning by 1.3 seconds ahead of Sergioli, who was just 200ths ahead of Lawrence as they crossed the line. Then it was TF10 Ryan, 2/10 back. NLR Coolman a further half a second back. Then Tony Reish, another half a second back with Silo, 3.2 seconds off in P7. Then it was Alex Loafer, Then 1.8 to Brian Amers, and then Thomas rounding out the top 10. Mislash in P11, 3.4 seconds off, and then a big gap to Nico Castroneves, or Castronovo, even 4.7 seconds, and then 2.7 to Pavlos, 4.9 to Chorizo with his 7 million penalties. Rapi's 6.7 behind him, and then Alpha Kevin, Racing Nomia, Supply Raptor, and Brent rounding out the field. But yeah, that will be that here in competitive speed series for round 10. I'm glad I could bring you the action in the end, and I'm glad that you got commentary to drive you through the action. But until next time, it is goodbye.